Long time. People just overlook them. Overlook open houses.
Can't overlook him, man.
Honestly, that's a great question we'll talk about later is I'm curious your thoughts on why. Not yet. Not yet. We won't get into that yet. But that is something I want to talk to you about is why? Why? That's a good question.
I think
Good
I know
morning,
the answer.
everybody. Hello, hello. Look at all you guys coming in. Let's get those videos on. Andrea knows the drill. Lauren knows the drill. Let's go, let's go. Video on. There we go. Ron, good to see you. Diane, Gladys. Come on now, guys. I love it. Love seeing your faces. I'm so happy you're here. This is a great way to just, in the middle of the week, power up. That's what I'm talking about. We used to call these hump day huddle.
I love it.
Yeah. So, icebreaker question, everybody, as we're letting people in because we start exactly 5 after, is do you feel, and I want to hear responses for everybody in the chat, do you feel that open houses just aren't worth it, or just that you wish they would produce better results? Right? Drop it in the chat. I'm curious what your answer is to this. This is a big one. I would say, and Kody, you can correct me or you can give your opinion. I would say the overall sentiment that I've seen across hundreds, maybe even thousands of agents that I've worked with or mastermind with is typically that open houses don't work and you just do them because you have to. Now, what would you say your sentiment is? Not you personally as in like how you view them, but like I know you've coached, I know you travel, I know you've been around a lot of agents. What's the sentiment that you see on your side when it comes to open houses?
I think the way that most people do open houses, they wish that they would produce results because they don't do anything leading up to the open house.
Mm, mm.
They want someone to walk in the door and then buy that house. And I mean, you may see it today, but as we start talking about open houses, I don't ever plan on selling. I'm not there to sell the house I'm sitting. I'm there to meet buyers that are looking to buy a house, most likely not that house. But there's also a bunch of work that goes into before the open house that will get you more business than the open house ever actually would. Open house is just an excuse to do some activities.
I agree. I love it. I love it. Let's see some of the responses. William says, indifferent, wishes for better results. Ron, better results. Gladys, I do them weekly. Let's go, Gladys. Man, you about to get leveled up here then, Gladys, which you're going to get today. I'm excited. If you've already got the habit of doing them weekly, oh, this is just going to take it to the next level. This is great. Cynthia, need better results. Jenny, I sold one house with buyers from an open house, but it's rare. Ain't going to be rare anymore. That's for sure. This is about to, that's about to change that. Well, Andrea, wish they produced better results. Don't do them properly. Yeah, I don't, most of the time when I was trained on what an open house was, I started at KW. This is no insult to KW. I'm saying this is, I think, the upbringing, if you will, for a lot of agents, which is just do an open house. Put out some open house signs, right? Every now and then you'll get someone who says door knocking. But here's the thing that I learned really quick, and Kody, you probably see this too. People are afraid to tell you the truth sometimes. And so they would tell me, just knock on a couple doors. It's not a couple doors, it's
Yeah,
a lot of doors. Just
exactly.
call a couple people, invite a couple people. No, no, no. You have to call, invite, door knock. You have to do so much.
Yes, exactly.
I think, like, even when I got good advice, it was shallow advice. And so when I knocked, I door knocked, I literally remember the number in my head, my first open houses. I door knocked 12 houses. And I was like, I did the thing. Nothing happened. And in fact, I pissed one guy off because he works graveyard shift and I woke him up.
Hmm.
So this clearly, I had the sentiment too. This doesn't work.
Yep.
It's all a sham, right? Anybody watch Ted Lasso? Drinking tea and then people leave the room and he's like, "This is a joke over here, right? None of you actually drink tea. It's just something you do to trick Americans." Right?
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, so funny. All right, guys, it's 5 after. I respect your time. You respect my time. And together we have a good time. So let's get to it. So this call is for agents who maybe feel overwhelmed by all the different lead gen options and they can't tell what actually works. Or maybe you do better with people in person versus online, right? Maybe you just do better in that one-to-one kind of communication versus feeling like you have to do TikTok dances. Man, I feel that pressure sometimes. I do. Sometimes I feel like, man, I should be doing more on TikTok. I should be going and being someone else. Maybe it's tons of YouTube videos every single week, right? There's just always so much, right? And realistically, a lot of you would just love to meet some people. Let me talk to some people, right? And of course, maybe you just want to do open houses that, generate real leads, which of course lead to real deals, right? I'm sure you guys can relate to some of that. So before we get into it, there are 4 commitments if you're here right now that you're making on this call. First one is video on unless you're doing something inappropriate or unsafe. Otherwise, get out of here. Come on now. That's no. Okay? Video on because this is a community and just like you can't have your video off with clients, you won't be able to have video off when you're meeting people at the open houses. You can have your video on now. Number 2 is distractions off. Okay. You are way too smart and way too capable. You did not self sabotage by showing up today with distractions. No way. Get those distractions out of here. If it's your dog, if it's your cat, if it's your kids, I don't care how old they're. Put them in timeout. Right. Participate. We're going to be interactive. We're going to be asking lots of questions. We're going to be engaging with each other, and you will get more out of this. So, the more that you participate. And then, one of the most important things, the reason why this call even exists today, is go make someone's day. Kody is doing, I did not pay him. He did not come in here with some big financial incentive. He is making time to bless you. I'm making time to bless you. I would love for you to go and bless someone else with what you learned today. There's a loan officer who needs to know how open houses work. Yourself, there's other agents that need to know this. Go bless them. Go serve them just like you are being blessed and served today. All right. So let's get into another question. How many deals, I'm curious, how many deals did you close, guys, from open houses in the last 6 months? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. And remember, it's okay. Be honest. If it's a 0, if it's a 1, that's okay. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. Because things are about to change, right? You know. You guys know. Right? A lot of zeros. You see in the chat, Kody?
We're gonna change this.
Yeah. Today, it's going to change. Okay? So we're going to get real into it. Kody, when we get to step 1, that's where I'm going to have you take over a lot. I like to set things up, kind of set the pace, set the story. So we're going to get into it in just a second. So I know that you guys have spent hours. Some of you cold call, some of you door knock, some of you make posts, and the leads just aren't quite cutting it. Some of you are doing a really good job on your scripts, your lead-ins, even paid ads, but it's kind of not sticking. And I know some of you, like me, have seen people who do an open house and then somehow they got something from it. And you're like, what the crap? Why did they get something and I didn't? Look at Gladys. Gladys is nodding her head. She's like, come on now. Something's off. Something is not working here. So can any of you relate to that? Any of you relate to spending that time on different legions? Maybe trying to do the open houses and you're not seeing results, but then you just see some agent. They're like, oh yeah, I got 3 buyers from my last open house. Anybody relate to that? We're getting some yups, some yeses. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what comes next, guys? Say it with me. Things need to change, right? And they will because it starts with one open house and it's going to lead to so much more. Because perfecting multi-layered open houses, which is essentially what Kody does, I just snagged those kind of words together. Multi-layered open houses as a lead gen magnet can help an agent go. This is Kody's story, by the way, from brand new to over 100 deals annually in just 2 to 3 years, depending on the timeline that we're talking about. Not only that, but one well-marketed open house can generate 30 plus real conversations and multiple appointments. right? And guys, I've brought guests on before who have talked about open houses. This is a universal truth that the best of the best live, right? And just so you know, marketing open houses, yours or even someone else's, can become your number one lead gen source. It doesn't have to be something that you just kind of do every now and then. It doesn't have to be something that you're like, oh, I forgot I have to do an open house this weekend. It should be, I am doing an open house because it will produce this results. Because open houses aren't just seller obligations. Take that in for a minute. I hope you guys are listening. And if you're writing notes, write this down. Open houses aren't just seller obligations. They're your weekly engine to turn calls, doors, and posts into face to face conversations. You guys feel that? Because now we're going to get into step one. We're going to get into it with Kody. So, step one is, of course, finding an open house. I'm going to jump to the slides that kind of show the notes that I made. But, Kody, so we got everybody here, right?
What's up,
They want to do
everybody?
an open house. How do they find that open house?
So, what I like to do is I started in this business 3 years ago, and obviously, you kind of explained what that has done for my business. I built my entire business off of open houses, and I still do open houses to this day, every single weekend. What we do is we call it a level 10 open house, and that all starts with choosing the open house. My favorite open houses to do are typically going to be something that is a bit above the average price point or at the average price point in your market. I don't want to sit something that is too crazy where you're not going to get people walking through. And then I don't want to sit something that is the lowest price point. The reason for that being, if I have people walking into the very lowest price point in my market, and that is all that they can afford, if that house doesn't work for them, there's not going to be very many options to show them.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I like to do is choose a vacant property, whether this is my listing, somebody on my team, somebody on my brokerage, or another agent that is in my community. No matter where you are, vacant listings are my favorite because I don't want to inconvenience the seller if I don't have to. The only time I do open houses for occupied listings are if the seller really would like to step out or go on vacation out of town, whatever that looks like, to do the open house. But it is much easier to choose the vacant listing and then continue to sit it. The best thing about the market that I think we are all in right now is the average days on market is continuing to increase. I think in almost every market, at least for sure it is in mine. So the listing that you're choosing is going to be on the market for possibly quite some time, maybe 1, 2, 3 months before it sells. So you will have many weekends in a row to sit that same house. The more that you sit the same house, the better you get at doing the open house there when you have the bread and butter of the people that are walking into your open house, the buyers. So average or above slightly price point, avoid below average or luxury unless it's in your niche. I do like to push it into the luxury sometimes, but not too luxury. So if the highest house in your market is like a $2 million house, I probably wouldn't want to sit a $2 million house, but maybe a 1 to 1.2, 1.5 max would be a good one to sit. But I like sitting, like our average price point in my market is 550. So I like sitting anywhere from 500,000 up to maybe 1.5. So, and then I like to schedule multiple open houses in the same property. Thursdays through Sundays are my favorites. It doesn't matter what time you do the open house, as long as you do the open house. In the market that I'm in, I like 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 1 p.m. to 4. But if you guys are in areas where there's a lot of people that work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, you may want to do open houses from 5 to 8 or 5 to 7, whatever that looks like in your market during the week. So that way people can come when they are off work. But I think consistency always wins. And then you want to plan it at least 3 days ahead. So you have to start the open house planning. Why it says 3 days ahead is on Mondays.
This is so powerful. I mean, some of the big things that I took away was one, the consistency. That was something I never learned. It was just like, if you have time, do an open house, not schedule an open house back to back and anticipate that you're going to keep doing them until you no longer have a house basically to do an open house for, and then you're already doing your next one. You already have your
Yep.
next one lined up. So am I correct in interpreting, and I don't have this in the notes, am I correct in interpreting that it's okay if the house isn't vacant, it's just going to be a lot more work to navigate? So let's say I try really hard and I just can't snag a vacant open house. I
Yep.
shouldn't give up. I should find the next best thing.
Exactly, 100%. So the only thing is, you just have to be on the same page of your seller. Doing an open house at an occupied listing requires maybe a little bit more work. You might have to show up like a half hour early to make sure your sellers are gone, the house is tidy, lights are on, and then when you go to leave, there's different steps to shut down an occupied house than there is a vacant house, because a vacant house, you can just shut it, lock it, and you're good to go for the next day. An occupied house, you got to make sure that you return it to the condition it was in
Mm.
when they gave it to you, you know. So if the house got dirty from people walking through, you might have to vacuum or mop or whatever that looks like, wipe off some counters.
Oh, good question actually on this one. Kathleen says, if the house is empty, do you stage it?
Nah, most of the time we don't stage anything in our market, like at all. So maybe I'll bring like a chair or two and then put the chair at the island. So that way, the entire time that I'm at this open house, I'm not just waiting for people to walk in. I am present there waiting for people to pull up so I can go out front. But I always have either hotspot or Wi-Fi. My computer's open and I'm doing the exact same thing that I do at the office at the open house. So still making calls, still um, doing every single thing that I would need to do at the office.
So now I'm really curious about this, and I bet some other people here are too. We have all been taught staging, increases. I think it's like 34% perception of value and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It what prevents you or what makes you say I just don't stage them?
I'm from Lake Havasu City, Arizona. I have about 55,000 people that live full time in this market. We're a big vacation market for people coming and using the lake on the weekends from the bigger cities around us, LA, anywhere in California, Vegas, Phoenix. And then in the wintertime, we get a bunch of snowbirds that come and visit and have second homes, or they rent for the entire winter here. So big seasonal town. We have one company that currently stages homes in town, and I've been in the business 3 years and I have yet to stage one of my listings. And I've had very few listings that have not sold. So it's really just not something that we do unless we do a little bit of development on the team that I'm on. So those specific listings that are developed by the team are not my listings, but they're like $2 million to $3.5 million houses. And they don't stage those, but they do buy furniture and they furnish the living, the master, the office, and the
Oh,
game room,
interesting.
but they do not do like staging furniture where you can move it all around. And that might be in this market because we don't have people that are doing that.
That's very interesting. So what I'm hearing is, to answer the questions about staging is if it's an expectation in your market, you might want to be mindful of that, right? If your market, that's a very common thing. I don't know too many. I work with a lot of agents in a lot of different areas, and it's always been pretty sporadic. Um, and I think the numbers show that the vast majority of homes are not staged.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be safe to assume that for the vast majority of buyers, that would not be an expectation. One thing that I've learned just for those too about staging. So I was taught you should stage it, and that'll help sell the house and sell the house for more. Not saying this isn't true, but here's what I found. Staging to either the stagers or your standard, who's ever setting the staging, the whole point of them walking through the house is to envision themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to tell the seller, remove as much of you from the property. But when you come in and stage, now you're just still adding someone else to the property again. Maybe it's me and what I think is tasteful and how I would use this, or maybe it's the stager and I don't do it. So for me, I actually stopped staging because I realized I had a couple people come in and go, "Oh, I'm not really fond of this." And so that's why I actually stopped staging because one, liability, replacing things that are broken, people making things dirty, but again, I tell the sellers, I'm trying to remove you from the property to insert someone else.
I think staging works really well if you have a property that is really hard to tell, like how the living room and dining would lay out.
Mm.
Staging might help that property sell. It does look really good when you walk into the master bedroom and there's items there. But I mean, I've had no problem selling a lot of houses that are not staged. And then even when they are not staged, but because I sell so many secondary homes, over 50% of the homes that I'm selling are second homes here. So most of them are sold furnished. but most of them are furnished by snowbirds who have owned the house for 20, 30, 15, however many years, and their taste of furniture is not the greatest, but they still sell. And if the buyer doesn't want the furniture, then we just get it hauled off.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I teach too. I always teach people when we're cleaning up a house, we're looking for declutter. Make sure it's easy to access the room. People mentally struggle a lot if they bump things. It will trigger things in their head that says too small. So decluttering's really smart. I don't want to get hung up on that, but I was really curious. All right, let's move to step two. So obviously market it, right? And this is one of my favorite things that you talk about, right? Is one, the
Yep,
simplicity of it, and then we'll get into the actual specific side of the how you do door knocking, calling, cold
yep.
calling. So this is more about how you market it in the promotional side.
Yeah. So on day one, so Monday before your open house, right? You're planning your Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday open houses. I recommend doing like 3 hours per day of open house work, but you want to create a simple flyer on Monday that has the address, couple pictures of the house, big letters that say open house. You want those letters to be like in the top that say open house, your info, and then the open house dates. And this is like basic. You can make it on Canva. We have a marketing department on my team, so she just makes the flyer when I give her the address and the times, and then you want to put it into the MLS so that way your open house is showing and it gets syndicated through Zillow, Realtor.com, all of those as quickly as possible because people do schedule when they're going to go around to open houses over the weekend. So you want yours to be showing up on there as soon as possible. You want to put it on your business or your personal. I run everything off a personal page, so I have a professional dashboard on a personal page. A little over 5,000 friends. That's one thing I'd recommend is adding, as many people as you possibly can that are in your market. Those are free leads. And then put it in local groups also. So create a Facebook event, invite everybody that you follow follows you, and then start inviting everybody that's in those Facebook groups as well. One quick story about inviting people in the Facebook groups. We do this every single time. I've had some success of people showing up to my open houses that way, but we had a brand new agent that joined our team 2 years ago. We all run this open house play, and I teach open house classes at my office often. But this agent did this, invited people through the Facebook group to an open house. The house was listed at like 975. He closed it at 950 from inviting somebody off of Facebook that's a local business owner in town. Their dad's a real estate agent, and this lady used her to buy the property and had it under contract like her first 4 days of being starting the open house process of being on the team. So it
I
works.
love that. And I will say this too, guys. Like in my first year in real estate, no background, no friends, no family, no sphere. I did open houses every weekend, not even near Cody's level, by the way. And I still closed 34 deals in roughly about a 4 to 5 month time period.
Let's
And
go.
what I did was I knew I had to get more people to open houses, and I knew the strategies that weren't being taught were being taught weren't working because I tried them. So I would create Facebook events and then I would max out my invites. I would directly message agents and if it was my listing, agents, and I would directly message people in my community. Like Kody said, I would just add people on Facebook groups. I didn't care. I can always unfriend them if I found a better candidate, like to be in my sphere. I just needed people. And I would message people, invite them to the open house until Facebook banned me, right? Until if I didn't get suspended, I didn't send enough messages. That was kind of my rule of thumb back then. And then I would door knock. I would bring goodie bags because I don't know about you guys. I was really nervous about door knocking. And I was like, but if I brought treats to people, they won't be as mad as me, right? Like, so that was my rationale. I didn't say I won't do it. I said, how do I make myself do it? And so like and it worked. I mean, it really did help. And a lot of business I got was not actually from people who bought that house. It was often they were looking and this wasn't quite the fit, So I love it. All right, let's get into the real big one. All right. Because I know this is one of the ones that people tend to avoid. But man, no matter how many guests we bring in, these are just universal truths, which is step three, door knocking and cold calling for your open houses. Andrea's face. She said, no, I'm out. I'm out. So let's get into that a little bit and talk a little bit about that, Kody, when it comes to it.
Yeah. So to get people to come to your open house, but also to get to know people that want to buy or sell real estate, The best thing to do and an excuse to cold call or door knock them is to be hosting an open house. So we door knock 200 doors in the neighborhood around the open house, inviting the neighbors to the open house and then asking them, do you know what your home is worth in today's market? Have you ever thought about selling your house? There's different scripts we go through, but we have a door knocking script and then we have a cold calling script. So we want to door knock 200 doors in the neighborhood, and then you want to call a minimum of about 500 neighbors around that area, also inviting them to the open house. And then as a courtesy for taking my call today, we are offering everybody a free home equity report. I'm dropping one off to your neighbor tomorrow at 2. Can I drop yours off after, or would 3 o'clock work better? And just setting as
Hey,
many of the home equity report appointments so that way you can put these people in your database, follow up with them, have them on the market report, and start finding more people to mainly like the pre-work in an open house is you're going to get more sellers, but you may also get some buyers from it because you knock on people's doors and they say like my cousin's looking or I'm renting and I'm looking. So I've met both buyers and sellers from the door knock and the cold calling, but that is where you really meet and make the most connections. And then when you're at the open house and the people that are looking to potentially buy or possibly sell and buy, that's like the extra icing on the cake is actually being at the open house. It's all about doing the
I love
work
that.
before the open house that really creates more momentum in your business.
And guys, don't worry. Kody is actually going to do a little role play in a little bit to show you how he breaks the ice, how he starts these conversations. It is simple. It is simple. So, but it's nice to hear it. I know a lot of us get anxiety in our head, and Kody, where do you think that continually comes from? Where they go, I can't door knock, I can't cold call someone. They're gonna shoot me in the head, like.
Well, so we always start on the cold calls because I think calls are easier to make and it's you can get more experienced in making calls. And if you mess up a call, which I still mess up calls today, I've been doing this quite a while and I still mess up on the phone. And you know what the best thing about a phone call is when you mess up? You can just click hang up and then you can call them back later. With a door knocking, it gets a little bit more face to face. So you want to make sure you're making your calls before you're door knocking so you're more experienced in having that conversations with people.
Smart.
But all it is a script, and then you just turn the script into a conversation and start asking them more questions. So there's mostly HOAs here. Yeah, you're gonna have to check with some HOAs. We only have a couple HOAs here in this town, and some of them don't like us door knocking. Some of them are okay with it as long as we don't leave the flyers there. We're okay. But on all the houses that don't have HOAs, I leave the flyer under the mat
Just
or
so you
in the
guys
door.
know, check with your broker. I am not telling you, I 100% believe in ethics. But I was talking to a real estate agent and they were talking about HOAs and they're like, I love door knocking in HOAs where they don't permit it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, you do understand that in most cases, HOAs are only enforceable to the people who live there. They can tell you no soliciting, but they are not police. They are not laws. They don't own the properties, so they're not even ownership rights. An owner can tell you, Kody, back the F up. An owner has that legal right. An HOA can only say home owners association. That is why you can have people all the time for alarm systems and solar panels and all these things. They're all in HOA communities. They are not getting fined or arrested by the police. That is not
Yeah,
happening. Why? They didn't agree to it.
in some markets, you may have to go and apply with your city for like a peddler's license. But technically, like if
And
you
that would
really
be
get down
city,
to it,
right?
your city, you're not trying to sell anything. I'm inviting you to an open house.
That's
I'm
right.
not
There's no
asking you to buy the
solicitation.
house. So, but I mean, I do have a peddler's license here um, because we do knock a lot of doors, and I
You might
have
as
had
well.
one guy that wasn't very happy, so I did go and get a peddler's license, but you don't need it. And then I think we got a question that says, "How many agents host the open house?" Typically, it's just me. I'm not trying to share everybody that walks in the open house with everybody else. Not to
He's
sound
working way
greedy,
too
but
hard to share this.
if I put in the work, sometimes I'll do a 10 to 1 and then another agent will take over from 1 to 4. But usually I can manage the traffic that comes in and out of the open house unless you have like a super hot listing and you're expecting to get a ton of traffic at it. Maybe you want to have 2 agents. That way, in case somebody's on, if you got 2 story, one person's on the bottom floor, the next person's on the top when you're leading people through. But other than that, I think one agent can pretty much handle the open house. You might miss a couple people when they're if they just pop in and pop out, but they probably weren't interested anyway.
All right, we'll get to more questions, guys. Keep dropping them. There's some great ones coming up, but I want to make sure we get through these steps. So the next one is this is often overlooked. Go live. I saw this. I was like, this is gold. Let's go. So Kody, talk a little bit about what what you're doing when you're going live on social media at your open house.
So what I mean by that is you can do this setting up leading to your open house, or you can do this the day of your open house. But when you get to the open house, maybe just set your signs up. You could just do a quick like Instagram or Facebook Live on and post this on your stories the whole time too. Like all the pre-work that you're doing, you're knocking doors, you're making calls, post a picture of the house, what you're doing. But you could just do a quick little, hey, I'm over here at 4242 Bombay today. This is a beautiful 3-bed, 2-bath home listed at 475,000. I'd love to give you guys a tour. I'll be here from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So drop on by. I look forward to seeing you. Tell your friends or whatever you want to say. It's just got to be something quick, easy, simple.
I love it. I think Steven just dropped some serious gold. I'm curious your thoughts, Kody. He said when he does open houses and he will like door knock, he'll, or even maybe it's work cold calling too, he'll tell
Mm-hmm.
them an open house is happening. Here's my number. Text me if a car is blocking your driveway.
Hmm. That's
That's
an
pretty,
interesting thought.
it's sincere. It's a problem that they don't want to have and they need to know how to fix. He just
Mm-hmm.
gave them his phone number without ever like pushing it on them, right? And
Yeah,
he could even follow up and say, just text me real quick to make sure that my signal's okay out here. All honest, all true. And listen, I would rather them call me and say, hey, this person's blocking my driveway than them calling the police
for
or a
sure.
tow truck. I have seen that, by the way, guys. I have done some really big open houses that I didn't know would be big, by the way. Didn't know. And I've had people call the police. I've had people like report. I don't know who they reported to, but I've had problems. So this is actually pretty cool, Stephen. What do you think about that, Kody?
I think that's not a bad idea. We start it with the same script every single time, but I think if you want to let the people know that are like directly surrounding the area, so when we call, we do it in like a mile radius.
Right.
So if I'm mojo dialing and I see that I'm calling like the direct neighbors and addresses that are on that street, that would be something that I could let them know. But for the most part, we're just sticking to the script and we're calling, a street or two over or 10 streets over. So we get
Yeah, makes sense.
pretty far
Obviously, it
out.
depends on your market, guys, but it's cool to have options. And like I told you, I made goodie bags. Why? Because I knew I wanted a door knock. I was just nervous about doing it cold. I wanted something warm to bring, right? Steven, maybe for him, he's like, this is what makes me feel comfortable knocking on these doors. The best part is that you just go and do it, right? You can take what Kody's doing, apply it, but the most important part is you actually just go do something. Go do
Mm-hmm.
the thing. So one of the things you told me that was really unique about your open houses, which I haven't heard before, is you told me you like to greet the guests outside.
Absolutely. If
Can
I
you talk
can.
about
So
that?
so when I set up my computer or my desk, workspace, whatever in the open house, wherever I can set up, I want to try to be able to see outside. Now, if I can't see outside, then I try to leave the front door open if you're in a place that the climate is nice enough where you can leave the front door open. It's going to be 105 today in Lake Havasu City, so we can't leave the doors open anymore. But I want to try to be able to see outside. The reason for this is when the car pulls up, I want to go and greet those people out front. First thing I'm looking for is like something about them that I can break the ice with. If they have a sports jersey on, or if they have different license plates than Arizona license plates, I'll say, "Hey, you came all the way from California to buy a house today. Like it's a perfect day to buy." Or, um, "You guys want to park in the driveway or the driveway of your new house?" Just like something to break the ice with these people. And then I introduce myself. I get their name. I do my best to remember their name, and then I just start drilling them with questions about themselves, like psychographic personal questions on, who are you, where are you from, how long you've been looking for a home, what do you do for a living, do you have kids, do you have grandkids. Like I start just going as deep as I can with personal questions to build rapport with them. And then if they ask me a question about the house, I answer it right away and then I go straight back to them. But the
Mm.
entire time from the beginning to the end of them being at the open house, I don't want to talk about myself at all. I'll answer the questions about the house, but I'm really trying to get to know and build rapport with them.
So, okay, this just popped into my head then, and maybe some other people are thinking it. What if you have three people in the house at the same time, how are you building rapport with all of them now? Is this a selection process? You're kind of like, okay, this one looks like the best lead. Like, how do you do
That
that? Because
gets
I have
tough.
had that happen.
Oh yeah. You're juggling. So then you want to try to kind of bounce around. You got one person outside, you got one person upstairs, you got one person in the garage, and you're trying to bounce around. Spend the least amount of time with the ones that you've already built a bunch of rapport with, hopefully. If they all walk in at the same time, then like good luck, game on. Let's see how we can do it. But at the end of them being there, you want to get their feedback. So, as a courtesy to my seller, I promised that I'd get feedback from everybody that came through their home today. If you could please do me a favor and fill out this feedback form, I would appreciate it. Usually, I don't have anybody that doesn't want to fill out the form unless they're like a weirdo. They'll fill out your form, then you get their name, number, and email. You get their interest in that home. There's also boxes on there that say if they're working with an agent or not. If I see them click that, I'm asking them, hey, who are you guys working with? Because some people just put that because they're trying to get you to not call them. But the reason I'm doing an open house is to get more buyers and
Yeah,
possibly some sellers too. But I want to meet these people and I want to ultimately sell them a house. So I'm going
yeah.
to follow up. I'm going to put them directly into my CRM and I'm going to contact them until they buy, die, or file a restraining order.
That's right. That's right, dude. So some of the critical notes that I took as I was learning from you was just don't do just part of the plan and expect full results.
Yep.
Every step, every time. And I think you've been saying that the whole time. These are the numbers that we do. These are the activities that we do, and we stick to the plan. We're going to keep sticking to the plan until it doesn't work, right? Um, Choose the right property. So if you can, go vacant, average
Mm-hmm.
price or a little bit above. Avoid super far into the luxury or super low in price point. Like you said, you need people, you need bodies in the home, so it's very important.
Yep.
Um, the if you can do multiple, right? Big deal. Multiple open houses versus one. Just like any other activity we do in our business, sporadic lead gen will not produce consistent results. Sporadic follow up will not produce consistent results. Open houses have to be just as consistent as any other activity that we do. Be welcoming, meet people outside, break the ice before they walk in. So they walk into the house essentially warmed up. They know you and they've talked about themselves. They've opened up a little bit, right? They're starting to breathe, if you will. Plan at least 3 days ahead. Open houses are not thrown together the night before, right? And of course, we know that prep always produces better results. Don't rely on the MLS alone. Create your own marketing materials and personally invite people. I think that's a big one that's overlooked, is why I put it on the MLS. And it's like, great. Like, now go beyond that. Like, you have more. Go make personal connections. Don't worry, guys. These questions are great. We will get to them. Um, One thing that we didn't talk about, but briefly, is I remember you telling me put every lead into your CRM, follow up with cold leads every 28 days and warm leads every 7 to 14 days. Is that still right?
Yeah, so how I organize my CRM, everybody, if you're not a hot lead, you're a nurture. So I have a bunch of nurtures and they get hit every minimum of 28 days. Warm leads are 7, 14, and the maximum I'm going to have a hot lead touch is like every 21. And that would only be if it was like a really hot client that then went home for the summer, but still
Mm,
wants to buy and they're coming back in the winter. I don't necessarily want to change them to nurture because like we had a buyer broker sign, we were looking at properties, but then they went home, but they still might find something that they want to fly out and see during the summer. So I still want to hit them, but not as often when they're not in town.
I love it. And then obviously stick to the numbers. It's not 50 door knocks, it's 200, right?
Yeah.
It's not 75 calls, it's 500. And we've had some great guests. Some of you guys have seen our guests who talk about how they've used open houses. And what's funny is, you know what they do for door knockings? Guess what the number is? 200. Guess what the calls is? 500. Like, this is just such a tried and true method. And listen, you guys have to remember, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, Kody. Kody is living the life that many of you want. Kody is living the life that many of you want. So when you look at the numbers and you say, I'm not going to do that, that's okay. But then don't say that you want Kody's life. You don't want that you want what Kody has, because the truth is you don't. You don't. You just think you do. But when you really want something, you go and get it. And you do whatever it
Mm-hmm.
takes. Kody says he's still, even with all the closings, even with all the monies he's making, he said, I still do open houses. I still do open houses, right? All right, Kody, real quick. Can we do a quick icebreaker on the door knocking on just how it doesn't even really have to be a super big role play because I mean, a lot of it
Hmm.
is knock knock, right? Like, and that's pretty much. And then, could you just show us how you do the first 30
I'll I
seconds?
can I can share the script with you. So we run the play the same every single time. So knock knock knock. They open the door. Hey, my name is Kody and I'm with eXp Realty. And the reason I'm stopping by today is because we just listed a property a few doors down from you. On example would be 4242 Bombay Drive. We love to give the neighbors an opportunity to choose who they live next to. Now you can pause. If they say anything, maybe they don't, but then just go right into if they don't say anything. Do you know of anybody who would be a good fit for your neighborhood? We know how important it is to have good neighbors, especially in a small community like this. Now you ask them a question, so pause, let them answer yes or no, and we'll share the script with you guys. But if they say yes, great. Can I get their contact information to set up a showing? Maybe they give it to you, maybe they don't, but thank you. Do you know anyone else who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? And then once I'm done with like either the yes or no, then I hand over, here's our flyer for the open house. It's going to be this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1. We would love for anybody that you know or you to stop by. And then we can also ask them, has anyone talked to you recently about the value of your investment? Your house could be worth way more than you think. Most people will say, well, on Zillow, it says this. Hey, most of the time I see Zillow to be sometimes 10 to 20% off above or below. I would love to update you on the biggest asset that most people own. Can I drop a home equity report off to you tomorrow at 2, or would 4 work better? No, not tomorrow, then the next day. And just keep going in, going in, going in. And the goal of that is to get their contact info and set the appointment to drop off the home equity report. And then when you drop off a home equity report, you want to treat that appointment almost like it's a listing appointment. It should be
Mm-hmm.
like this close to being a listing appointment. You should always have listing docs with you just in case. But it's almost like, when you stay at the hotel and they try to get you to go through the 2 hour timeshare presentation to get the extra free night. It should feel like if I'm going to be able to give you the value of a home equity report, you're going to let me into your home. I'm going to be able to build rapport with you. It should only take 30 minutes to an hour from the moment I walk in, walk around your house, and then we sit down at the kitchen table. I want to explain to you what your home is worth. And then I want to also explain to you the exact process of how it would be if you listed your home with me. Because most people, they only meet with one agent. So if I
Yeah.
am the agent that gets inside the house, 99% of the time, I'm going to be the one that lists that house, whether it's right now, in a year, 2 years, 3 years. From the very first open house, like when I started in this business 3 years ago, there was one listing, took 114 days to sell. I sat that listing Thursday through Sunday for like 4 months straight. That one listing, I've probably sold, I don't know, 15 to 20 houses, like at least 10 million in volume just from that one listing. And I still have people that I follow up with, still get referrals from, and I still have a couple pocket listings that are like right around that neighborhood because those neighbors saw how hard I was like working in there every weekend. There's like a $1.35 million house that's on the street over. It's the same house number, but on one street over. And I've had it as a pocket listing for 2.5 years because they're building a new home and it's like the Taj Mahal. They haven't finished it yet or something. They actually just started framing, but I will sell that when they finish the house. But I've shown that house like 6 times as a pocket listing. But we all know that typically pocket listings are usually pocket listings because they're a little higher priced than if they were actually probably on the market and they don't have as many eyes on them. So I haven't sold it, but I've been able to show that person's home and stay in contact with them for 3 years now just from doing an open house. And they walked in the open house actually when I first met that couple. I was like trying to finish up paperwork. So my open house ended at 1. I was there at 1:30, like still on my computer, and they walked in.
Dang. This is powerful. I mean, so much of what you said. One is, you need to know what you're bringing to the table. You need to have a clear plan of action. I think that really resonated with me when you're talking to someone door knocking. It's nice and it's friendly, but there's an objective.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do the follow up with the home equity report, there's an objective. I think a lot of times we allow clients or leads to dictate how we respond to them, how we operate our business. And I think some of that just comes, or maybe a lot of it comes from the fact we don't have a plan. I mean,
Yep.
I coach a lot of agents, and when I ask them, okay, How's your numbers? Well, I don't know my numbers. Okay. I'm going to do some follow up today. Great. What are you following up about? Oh, I'm just going to something. And I'm like, no wonder nobody wants to talk to you. Like, you bring nothing to the table. You're not clear. You're not intentional. You don't bring value. And it's not an insult to you. It's saying you're not compelling them,
Yep.
right? This is this. Could you imagine going to a doctor and all they just say is to stare at you blankly? I don't know. I don't know. You'd be like, I don't want to be anywhere near a doctor who has no clue what he's even doing.
Hmm.
Show
Definitely.
up. That's why we have to do all the paperwork in advance because the doc is supposed to. Now, we know doctors who don't do it, and that pisses us off, right? But do your homework. Be ready. Be prepared. Be intentional. All right. We were going to do a breakout room, but I want to be mindful of time. We have so many great questions coming in. So let me just quickly do, guys, the growth opportunity for you this week. And maybe, Kody, you'd be willing to drop some of your scripts in. We have a Facebook group. It's free for everyone. I think I
Yep.
tagged you in it as
Hmm.
well, but would love to. Maybe you'll share some of the scripts, anything you have, because you're an amazing resource for people. But, guys, for you this week, here's the goal: pull up your calendar right now and block off 1 hour today to get an open house scheduled for next week because now it's already Wednesday. We don't do this overnight, and we're going to assume we're going to do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? This is your goal. Gladys has already got this. I know she does a bunch of open houses, so she's about to level up. I can't wait, Gladys, to hear from you. Um, Follow Kody's plan. That produces over 100 deals a year for him. Right, Kody? How are you doing this year, by the way?
Right now, this year, we have 118 closed.
Just a couple. Just a couple. Just a few. Little side hustle. Just does it on the
Full
weekend,
time.
right?
Full time, baby.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Right. So, guys, this is something you've heard it from so many other guests too. I think Kody is probably peak open house right now. And if you noticed, nothing he said costs a ton of money. Nothing he said is fancy. He said Canva template, right? He said home equity report, which all of you guys know how to do those. And if you don't, fine, we'll do a class on that, right? But none of this is beyond your reach. That's what I want you to hear, right? I know for a lot of you, you feel this is beyond your reach, right? Okay. So let's get into some of the Q&As real quick and talk a bit about it. So one of the ones that keeps coming up is Taha. He said, are these your listings or someone else's? So for you,
So
Kody, yeah, how do you approach
it
that?
depends. Like right now, I have a new listing that just hit the market yesterday that we're going to do open houses at this weekend. And when I say we, it's like me and I work on a team of like 40 agents. So some of them will do open houses at all of our listings too. But most of the time I'm doing nowadays open houses at my own listings. But if I have another agent on the team that gets a hot listing that's vacant in a neighborhood that I like, absolutely, I'll go market the heck out of their listing and sit it. But I got to the point where now I have so many listings that I do have enough vacant listings that I can sit my own pretty much every single time. And then lucky for me, the other agents on the team want to market and sit my listings too.
Heck yeah. Tahoe, for that answered your question well. So it's definitely a blend. Tahoe, once you start hitting 100 deals a year, you come back and then you tell us how you went about it, right? I love it. I know you're hustling, man. Kathleen, what is the highest days on market you will do an open house for?
Doesn't matter. I don't even look at that.
No, okay.
So
So
like I
now
just
I'm
had
I'm a
one that
little
took me,
curious.
I just had a house that took me, it was referred from one of the clients I met at that first open house that I was doing. I sold them a house in the neighborhood. They referred me to the neighbor. The house was on the market for 183 days with the previous agent. I took it. I got $100,000 price reduction, and it still took me 140 days to sell it and another
Oh my,
$20,000 price reduction out of that. So we were still doing open houses at that one. And my favorite thing about that neighborhood, it's in like a small pocket of, I don't know, maybe 500 houses on this, like we call it the north side, lake side of the highway neighborhood. And that, I don't care if you get a listing, I don't care if it's a dump falling over. Like I will sit in that neighborhood no matter what the house is. So
dang.
I really don't even look at days on market. When it is fresh, does it have more eyes on it? I think so, absolutely. We all know when it makes that first entrance into the market and it gets all that activity online, you should see more people through it. doing less like work to get them there. But if you're still door knocking and you're still cold calling, then there still should be people coming to your open house.
I love this. I love this. I want to bring up one thing that's important, especially since real estate is female dominated as far as ratios, which is I feel unsafe door knocking. So, Kody, you have women on your team.
Yep.
I know that. And you have women. I think you just made a post recently about one that was doing open houses, or maybe Dustin was, um, and crushing it. I have my own thoughts on talking about safety and things like that. But what are your thoughts on someone bringing up a legitimate concern? Hey, I'm a woman, um, and I'm nervous about door knocking.
Yeah, I totally get it. I think some of them, if they want to carry protection, they absolutely can. Most of the time, we will go together. So there will be like an agent on one side of the street, and then I hit the other side of the street, and then we will continue to go house by house and kind of like keep an eye on each other. But
The
I
Mormon
like when I,
approach.
yeah, exactly. So when I first joined the team, there was another agent that joined at the same time as me named DJ, and we used to go door knocking all together, me and her. And there'd be times where I would get all the way down the street because she got stuck at somebody's house, and they let you walk in right there, and you take the whole tour, and you're spending 30 minutes talking to Larry about his Harley in the garage. And those are just good relationships that you can build. But I think most of the women on my team, especially some of them carry like a taser or something, just for protection. But I don't like to think that those kind of things are going to happen. I like to go into it with a positive outlook, but I do know that some of that stuff could happen. But I would just be cautious.
And here's what I'll say to this, right, guys, is oftentimes legitimate concerns shut down legitimate solutions. We allow that. Okay. And so I had an agent on my team who said, I won't door knock because I'm afraid. Okay. I'm like, listen, you don't have to door knock, by the way. I'm not your boss. I'm not going to tell you you have to do something. Right. And that never produces good results anyway. Um, but if you believe that door knocking is important, then you decide what makes it safe for you. Do you need to go find a partner? Do you need to carry a gun, a taser? Does it need to be in specific neighborhoods? What do you have to do? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to use you, Andrea. You do lots of things that actually have a lot of more risk than someone hurting you in a door knocking. But you take steps to make those things safe. Maybe you wear your seatbelt in the car. You're way more likely to get injured from that, right? But it's a necessity. Somewhere in your head, you said, driving my car to work, driving my car to an appointment, driving my car to these things is necessary. So I will do everything in my power to make this process safe, but it is part of the process, right? And so for
Yep.
each of you, you have to define for yourself what is safe for me and then do that thing, right? That's just super important. And so it's a legitimate concern, but there are almost always a legitimate solution to. And you have to figure out for yourself. Kody and I can't decide that for you. We can just give you ideas and suggestions, but you have to decide what's for you, right? What's safest for you. Okay, a couple more questions. A lot of people are asking what your follow up is. So when it comes to follow up, like what are you doing for open houses? People who've signed in.
Yep.
Let's start with them, not the door knocking ones, because you said home equity report, and I feel like we kind of covered that. So for those
Mhm.
who came into the open house, what's your follow up?
So they come into the open house, I get their information, I put their info into my phone. Now, when I'm walking through the open house, like one thing that I don't have, and I want to be clear on this, at the open house, I do not have any type of flyer or marketing material that has the facts and the features about the house. The reason for that is most people are going to ask you for that. Now, here's a
Mm,
perfect opportunity for me to get their phone number or their email is, hey, I'll send it to you. So I pull out the MLS and I share it with them, and they give me their number, and then it gives me the opportunity to save their number right there. So if they happen to not put their correct number in my open house
smart.
thing, I've already got it. So once they leave the open house, though, at the end of the open house, if I have a window of nobody there, I have my computer open already. So I put them into my CRM, and then I send them a text message thanking them for coming to the open house. Maybe send them a link of like houses that fit their criteria based on the conversation that we had while they were there. But I do like sending at the end of this, you just met them face to face. Just pull out your phone, put your camera up, start with a smile, and just say, hey, Susan, it was so great to meet you today. I look forward to finding you and Larry the greatest house. I'm going to send over a link to you right now, some more properties. Let me know if you want to check any of those out. Quick face talking video sent to them. Perfect icebreaker again, and just builds a little bit more rapport. I use this also when I have a lead that's not responding to me. I'll send the same kind of video.
I love that you it's always nice when guests come in and reaffirm what we always talk about, which is that you sent a video and you made it personable and you made it intentional. You said you didn't just say thank you, you said here's what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's coming next. Here's how our relationship proceeds forward. Right?
Yep.
It's not a let me know. They're not going to let you know.
No,
It's
that's like handing out
here's
your
what's
business
coming
card and
next.
expecting them to call you. I
Yeah.
want their number only. I don't hand out my business card to people ever. And then, so one thing about that too, they come to the open house, you get their information, you put them into your CRM. Now, depending on what stage they're in, hopefully you got a feel for that. Are they a hot lead or are they a nurture? You're putting them in your CRM. You're putting them on a check-in. I like using reoccurring tasks. So that way the task never goes away. So I put them on either a 7-day, a 14, or a 28-day reoccurring task. And then I put them on a listing alert and a market report.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Kody, I know we're close on time. One more question if we can make it squeeze in, and I think it's a
You
great
guys are
one.
good.
So Joel, an awesome lender, he asked, how can loan officers support agents with these open houses?
I think if LO wants to come and sit with you, maybe they can bring some waters or something to the open house. I don't do any food at the open house anymore. Like I used to bring cookies and stuff, but the problem with that was who was eating the cookies? I was eating the freaking cookies, and we don't need to be eating all the cookies. So I just do waters at open houses. That's it. So if the LO wants to bring waters, maybe they can even bring waters with like their branding on them. Another thing is I try to put out as many signs as possible leading to the freaking open house, and I put the signs like it's windy here often, so I put them with rocks on them or bricks or whatever. But I try to put them like in the road where like you might hit them if you're not paying attention. Leading to the open house, something that could be added that I think like an LO might be able to support somebody with would be maybe grabbing a couple dollar store balloons and putting some balloons on the open houses at the bigger corners. Other than that, like I used to have an LO that would sit with me every single time at my open houses, but I like to just be able to go, 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 go. So um, I kind of stopped having somebody sit with me as much as they did before. Every once in a while, I'll have like an LO pop in. But it turned out like in the beginning where I was just having a conversation with the LO the whole time, and I like still continuing to have my computer up working when
Mm-hmm.
there's nobody at the open house. Because I
Yeah, be
mean, I
productive.
can't guarantee that someone's going to show up to the open house every single time. I've had killer open houses on Thursdays. I've had great ones on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, but I've also got skunked. So if you get skunked, you know what? I still had my computer out and I was still following up with people. I was still trying to set more appointments. So it's never like a wasted day.
That's right. That's right. It's just a different office location for
Exactly.
the time. And
And
so
guess
big
what?
thing that I've had LOs do. So my kind of rule of thumb for my
Mm-hmm.
partners is if I'm working, you're working when it comes to actual activities. So I have had LOs go door knocking, especially when someone feels unsafe. It's a great
Mm-hmm.
opportunity for them to step up and be a real partner and meet a real need. A good LO should be willing to get their hands dirty. If you're hot, they should be hot, right? If you're out there in the sun door knocking, unless obviously they have some physical disability or something, but if you're out there working, they should be working too. Why? Because their relationship with these future leads, that's who they're passing them to. And if they don't know them, they're not going to be as effective. But if Kody and I, right, I'm the LO and Kody's the agent, and we're door knocking and talking to these leads together, or we're covering different bases, then when I get that lead later on from Kody as the LO, they know me. They know how we met. They know how we
Yep.
do things. They've seen Kody and I in action together. They feel the presence of our teamwork right off the bat. Right.
I've
So,
had that before too. Like when I first started and I didn't have experience, it was really good to sit with an LO and I had like an experienced LO that sat with me. So we would kind of play off each other and we did convert quite a few people because he would ask a hard question and then I'd go easy and then he'd go easy and I'd go hard again and
good
like
cop, bad
we
cop.
would we would we would press them into what we wanted to know. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
So
They should be a real partner who, in my opinion, does the work too. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Kody, for being here. I want to always be respectful of your time. So, guys, the last thing we say, right? Say it with me. Things need to change, and I will change. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day. Kody, you are amazing. We'll see you in the Facebook group. We'll tag you in a post where you could drop anything you want with us, man. Appreciate you,
Perfect.
brother.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all.
Guys, I hope you had a blast, by the way. See you, Kody. Hope you learned that open houses, man, they are killer. Absolutely amazing. One of the best. 100 plus deals a year. Already 100. What did he say? I don't even know. 100 something this year so far. So I hope this brought a lot of value. I hope you are encouraged, and I hope you're going to go do some open houses. Let's go. We will see you in the Facebook group. On YouTube, we have the replays. And then, of course, we'll see you next week, too. So see you later, guys. Bye.